The following is an original Livin' podcast.
Well, guys, for this week, it is just me, once again. Part of the reason is that yesterday, at the time that I'm recording this, April 3rd, I just wasn't feeling up to recording at all. So I had to let them know, but also Wyatt said, you know what, it's fine. I got asked to go help out with something anyway, and I suggested we do it today, April 4th, and Wyatt has choir practice, and Nathan is going to a concert, which I said, you know what, it's alright, have yourself a good old time, and we'll try it again next week once we get done with Bristol. So, we have our third, wow, you can see I can totally talk. But welcome to our 34th edition of GTN. As always, I'm your host, Elijah Leonard. And you know where Wyatt and Stapleton are. They're not here. So, as I have already said. But I'm gonna be going over Richmond, and also apparently I completely just went over the fact that we had a truck race at Texas on Saturday, and I didn't even know. I just didn't. But let's go on and start recapping pretty quick. Of course, from what I've seen, there really wasn't a whole lot to watch. I didn't really look at the highlights, unfortunately, but you know, it looks like that we might have had ourselves a pretty tame race, but the most dominant guy in the Xfinity race was none other than Chandler Smith, leading 83 laps and beating John Hunter Nemechek for his first Xfinity Series win. Honestly, I'm here for this one. I'm so happy to see that Chandler Smith is able to take the 16 to victory lane, and for him to get his first career victory for Kaulig Racing in the Xfinity Series. So I'm excited to see what the rest of the season is going to look like. Maybe he might nab one or two more wins. I don't think it's going to be to the level of AJ Allmendinger of 2021 or last year. I don't think it's going to be to that level, but you know, he is definitely going to be somebody we're going to have to keep our eyes on. So, our finishing results goes as follows for the Xfinity race. Like I said, I didn't even watch any of the races, so I'm kind of just here at this point, just giving you the results and what happened. Chandler Smith, of course, is the winner. John Hunter Nemechek is second. Josh Berry third. Kaz Gralla for Sam Hunt Racing coming home in the fourth position. Cole Custer completing the top five. Then Sheldon Creed, Ryan Sieg, Parker Kligerman, Austin Hill, and Derek Kraus in his Xfinity Series debut coming home inside of the top 10. And I made a tweet, I think it was the day of the Xfinity race, while it was going on. And there was a tweet that showed that Derek Kraus was running inside of the top 10. And I kind of put a tweet out there saying, could we see Kraus race at Kaulig at the Xfinity level by maybe 2024 or 2025? And Kraus saw it and actually liked it. So that actually was, that was pretty cool. But it is something that we're going to have to watch here for somebody like Derek Kraus, because he actually showed some really good speed last week at Richmond. So I'm curious as to how that's going to go. Now, from 11th through 20th in this order, Alex LeBay, Justin Allgaier, Chris Hacker, good run for him, Ryan Ellis, not bad, Parker Retzloff, Sam Mayer, Jeffrey Earnhardt, Sammy Smith, and Kyle Sieg all complete the positions 11th through 20th. From 21st through 30th goes as follows: my bad. Brandon Jones, Brett Moffitt, Riley Herbst, Daniel Hemrick, Leland Honeyman, Blaine Perkins, Joey Gase, Connor Mosack, Patrick Emmerling, and Garrett Smithley, all complete positions 21st through 30th. And then our final 8 finishers goes as follows in this order. Mason Maggio, Stephen Parsons, Josh Williams, Brendan Poole, Gray Galding, I almost said Clay Greenfield, wrong guy, Jeremy Clements, Joe Graff Jr., and Anthony Alfredo all retire from, not all of them, but Anthony Alfredo was the only one that retired from the race. So from the looks of things, other than one car going out of the event, it doesn't look like a lot happened in the Xfinity race. Pretty much everybody was pretty much from 22nd up was on the lead, or 23rd, up, was on the lead lap. We've had only 15 drivers, or 14, at least one lap down or more, and only one retiree. And, I'd say this was actually pretty tame. Texas, however, the race that I completely just glided over, was not so tame. Of course, being Texas and also the Truck Series at Texas, you're bound to get some chaos here and there. For example, we had a wreck on the front straightaway that involved one of the trucks that were involved on that front stretch incident was Dean Thompson. Dean Thompson had some pretty nasty licks and was transported to a medical center, and he has been, from what I've heard, released. So hopefully he's doing all right still, and hopefully whatever. I don't think he has any possible injuries, but if he does, hopefully he has a speedy recovery. Maybe if I look on Twitter real quick, I don't necessarily think that he has any injury whatsoever, but he might have most definitely had the breath knocked out of him. That's for sure. That was all. If I'm looking on Twitter real quick, that was the third. Here's the second. No, wait. Guess this isn't gonna give me a clear cut answer as to Dean Thompson's condition, but he did climb out. He was awake and alert, so it's good to see that Dean Thompson, for the most part, is okay. But we just fast forward towards the end of the race. It looked like we were going to have ourselves a battle between Zane Smith and Nick Sanchez, whom, from the looks of things, was the truck to beat. Nicholas Sanchez, for Rev Racing, had the truck to beat. Led 168 laps. Going to the end of the race, battling Zane Smith for the win. Carson Hocevar is right behind the both of them, watching everything, and just in case if something were to happen to the front two, he's right there to capitalize, right? They take the white flag, and Sanchez looked like he clipped the infield grass, just a little bit. That was just enough for him to get a bit sideways. And knowing that it was the last lap, Carson Hocevar was not going to lift. So he doesn't. He also gets into the back of Sanchez, who already was trying to save his truck, and unfortunately takes out Sanchez and also Zane Smith, but Hocevar goes by. He crosses the finish line first and is declared the winner. So I, as a Michigan boy, am proud to see Carson Hocevar win. I've also seen posts all over that people that have known Carson Hocevar when he was helping out at the Little Kalamazoo Speedway or the Kalamazoo Speedway when he was younger, or helping out Johnny Benson in his garage building his Outlaw Super Late models. You know, people were just congratulating him, which is like, yeah, that's cool. On one side of the coin, I bet Hocevar didn't want to win the race that way, but on the other side, a win's a win, and he'll take it no matter what, you know? Some people will have that mentality, like, hey, a win's a win. But another side of people will also say, hey, it's not the way that I wanted to win, but, oh well, we'll take it. But let's go on to our finishing results here. Of course, Hocevar a winner. Chase Purdy finishing in the second position. Stuart Friesen third. Ty Majeski fourth. Jake Garcia coming home inside of the top 5. This one I'm happy about. Haley Deegan coming home in the 6th position. The 6th position. She started 25th in that race, and she comes home 6th. By far, I think if I'm correct, this is probably her career best in the Truck Series. Her career best finish. 6th place. And I'm really happy to see that, honestly, because people like myself and Wyatt and Nathan, we have all been we know how talented Haley Deegan is. We've seen it before in the Can-Am West Series and also ARCA. And once she got to trucks, of course, things kind of just weren't lining up, and it was almost like, man, we have no idea if we're ever going to see Haley Deegan score another top 10 or top 5 again. And she goes to ThorSport, doesn't get the best of starts off to her season, but we see her run pretty well. But unfortunately, the finishes just don't back up the numbers that we thought she was going to get. But now she comes home 6th at Texas. Not bad, and that's so far this year, that is her best finish, guaranteed. So we're just gonna have to keep our eyes on her and see if she can capitalize on that 6th place once we go to Bristol. Corey Heim 7th, Ryan Vargas 8th, Jack Wood 9th, and Ben Rhodes completes the top 10. Then from 11th on down to 20th goes as follows: Mason Massey, Chris Wright, Matt Crafton, Zane Smith, Christian Eckes, Nicholas Sanchez, Grant Enfinger, Lawless Allen, Raja Karuf, and Colby Howard all complete the top 20. From 21st down to 30th, we have Josh Rayom, Spencer Boyd, Brett Holmes, Taylor Gray, Daniel Dye, Tyler Ankrum, Tanner Gray, Dean Thompson, Armani Williams, and Trey Hutchins III comes home in the 30th position. And then for our final 4 finishers goes as follows: Matt Mills, Matt DiBenedetto, Keith McGee, and Chad Chastain, who ended up retiring from the race at lap 17 due to an accident. Man, like, it's nice to see that Chad Chastain's getting some starts, but, it kind of makes you question. But now we go over to our Cup race. This one I unfortunately was not able to watch because this was the first race broadcasted on FS1. I hate that they have some Cup races on FS1. I wish they didn't, but they do. It's not something that, I can change or anything. Of course, I'm not an executive over at Fox Sports, but oh well. Unfortunately, I was not able to watch it, but there were a couple things I want to highlight from this race. First of which, Denny Hamlin, once again, gets the spotlight because he took out a Rick Ware racing car on lap 32. Like, it looked pretty blatant. It looked super blatant. See, he was trying to... we were going to the front stretch, right? You know, you're looking from the camera that's on his helmet, so you can see what he sees. Eye level. He goes low on the front stretch going into turn 1. He gets behind J.J. Yaley, and he bumps him. Essentially wrecked him. Yaley goes into the wall, and of course, obviously it's going to bring out a caution. But J.J. Yaley, I believe, also had some words for Denny Hamlin. Let's see if I can find them real quick. Oh, here it is. J.J. Yaley via the front stretch said this: "I don't know if there could have been anything from a guy who's been preaching respect for the last couple of weeks. Seemed really silly on lap 32. So, what J.J. Yaley, of course, is alluding to is just this guy who is Denny Hamlin, who is just preaching. I know, man, it's so hard to really just explain, because I can't even put into words just of how Denny Hamlin can easily just put the spotlight on him. It's not like he was deliberately trying to get the spotlight on him, but Denny Hamlin in the last couple of weeks has just been such a character, man. He has just been such a movie star, if you know what I mean. Really, it's just like, at this point, it's like, I'm not sure whether or not if I really want to care too much for Denny Hamlin, because really just Denny has kind of been getting on my nerves lately, of course. I mean, with Phoenix and him appealing right around St. Patrick's Day, the way he handled the media, the way that he was racing. I mean, also somebody like J.J. Yaley, who, yes, was slower than Denny Hamlin, but to me, I don't see a need in taking him out the way that you did. Why not just stay behind him and go around him on the backstretch? I mean, it's lap 32. I mean, have a little bit of patience, Denny. But that's exactly what he did. He took out J.J. Yaley. Seemed pretty blatant to me. I bet the only excuse he came up with on the radio was he checked up way early. Like, dude, you know what you did. You spot him out. Just own up to your mistakes, man. Own up to your mistakes. Don't pin the blame on somebody else. Then, there was a wreck, I think it was late in the race, with William Byron. I think it was on a restart. William Byron was on the outside. I think he also ended up getting turned on the restart, going into turn 1, which ultimately took him out of took his chances of winning completely away. He was up at the front through like a really good portion of the race. If I look at, 117 laps, he's been out front, like leading laps. 117 laps. But he comes home 24th. But it's really been a Hendrick Motorsports kind of day. Of course, Kyle Larson was up there in second. He was also up front for a good portion of the day. Led 93 laps. And he went on to win the race. So as we go through our finishing results here, Kyle Larson nabbing his first win of the season. Josh Berry, driver of the race, man, pretty easily for this one. Substituting for Chase Elliott, he comes home in the second position. Nice. That's all I gotta say, man, is nice. Ross Chastain comes home third. Christopher Bell fourth. Kevin Harvick finishing out the top 5. Then it's Michael McDowell, Joey Logano, Alex Bowman, Ty Gibbs, nabbing another top 10, and Brad Keselowski completing the top 10. Then positions 11th through 20th goes as follows: Martin Truex Jr., Chase Briscoe, Eric Almirola, Kyle Busch, Todd Gilliland, Tyler Reddick, Chandler Smith making his Cup debut, coming home in the 17th position, Ryan Preece, Harrison Burton, and Denny Hamlin, all rounding out the top 20. Then from 21st down to 30th goes as follows: Corey LaJoie, Bubba Wallace, Daniel Suarez, William Byron, Austin Dillon, Ryan Blaney, AJ Allmendinger, Austin Cindric, Justin Haley, and Chris Buescher all round out the top 30. Then our final 7 finishers in this order: Eric Jones, Ty Dillon, Anthony Alfredo, Cody Ware, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., J.J. Yaley, and Noah Gragson, who went out of the race on lap 303 due to an accident. Other than that, this Richmond race seemed pretty tame until it got closer to the end. Only one retiree. At least 24 cars finished on the lead lap from 25th on down to 36th. Finished one lap down or more. Only one retiree. Seemed pretty tame. Seemed really, really, really tame. So as I'm scrolling around for the news, or any sort of breaking stories, there are not any. There are not any breaking stories. So, with that, we're going to be going ahead to preview Bristol Dirt this weekend. Now, first dirt race of the season, first and only dirt race of the season for, well, the Cup Series, rather. For trucks, I don't believe so. I think they're still going back to Knoxville. May have to go back and look again, but somebody will probably correct me if I'm wrong. But Bristol Dirt, of course, we saw some, I'd say we saw some pretty average dirt racing at not Martinsville, but Bristol. So we might, I think we're probably going to see something similar to the sorts. But who knows? Something could possibly change. And maybe it could. I'm not saying it'll be a wreckfest, but I mean, we did see a pretty good finish for the Cup side, of course, with Tyler Reddick, Chase Briscoe trying to go for the win, and unfortunately, both of them spinning out, and Kyle Busch coming along and Mickey Mousing his way to his last win with JGR. So, you know, for this year, I think it could just be very, very similar to what we saw, but that's what I think. But here we go. It's time for the predictions. Of course, if you're brand new, this is how we do, and we give you a driver who we think is going to win. Driver to stay away from is the guy who hasn't been doing all that well the last couple of weeks, or we're just going up to a track to where they suck. Dark Horse is the exact opposite of the driver to stay away from. So, it's just me. I don't know what else to really say, so here we go. Starting off with the Truck Series. Driver to win. I think if we want to look at we won't really want to look at this. I think for driver to win, easily got my eye on Sturt Friesen here. Easily. Dirt specialist. This is the type of background where he got his first truck win at Eldora 4 years ago. So I'm definitely looking for Sturt Friesen to capitalize here as the driver to win. Driver to stay away from. I think I've got my eye on, I'm going to say, this is tough, but think I've got my eyes on possibly this is definitely a tough call to make, honestly. But I think I'm gonna say maybe Taylor Gray as my driver to stay away from. I honestly have no idea how well he does on dirt, but one way to find out. Now my dark horse. Ignore the dogs in the background if you can hear them. My dark horse is actually going to be pretty interesting. I'm going to say Ben Rhodes is my dark horse. Now, for the Cup Series, I'm pretty sure. Let me look a second. Some family just got here, but I'm going to finish this off real quick. And then we'll get into... And then I'll go see them. So for the Cup Series, my driver to win... Man, he came so close. I'm going to say Tyler Reddick is my driver to win for this one. Like I said, when he and Briscoe were going for that win, they both were right there, man. They both were literally just right there. But, a bad move on Briscoe completely just screwed him up. But, he's my driver to win, Tyler Reddick. Driver to stay away from, I'm going to say Josh Berry. Because I've never seen him race on dirt before. I don't know how well he'll do, but it's the same boat as Taylor Gray. So, one way to find out. My dark horse, easily Chase Briscoe. No, wait, hold up. Sorry, scratch that. I'm going to go with Christopher Bell as my dark horse for this one. I say Christopher Bell because of his dirt, because of course he is fantastic on the dirt. And that's really all I have to say. I really don't know what else to bring up to you, but Christopher Bell is going to be my dark horse. So, final thoughts, of course. Let's get the Bristol weekend underway. And I do want to apologize again for, of course, being the only one here and also feeling like that this episode was rushed. I do promise, I can't really promise, but I will do the best that I can to ensure that we have all three of our panelists, well, both of our panelists here again for next week, and make sure that we're all good to go, and make sure that this episode, that the next future episodes are not as rushed as they are now. But anyways, that's going to do it for this week's edition of GTN. Want to thank you guys a lot for watching and or listening. If you liked this, be sure to give it a like, and if you liked it, be sure to give it a like. And if you have not considered subscribing yet, recommend you do so to keep up with some fine content coming out in the near future. And if you're listening on Spotify, be sure to hit that green follow button so you don't miss a future audio replay. That pretty much does it for us. I'll see you in the next one.